name is Dr. Scott Linfoot, and I'm actually a member of the IEEE Consumer Electronics Society. I'm here at the ICCE Berlin, which is associated with the IFA, a fantastic trade show designed at the Consumer Electronics Society. Now, what I'd like to do is interview a few people to find out a little bit more about what is bringing people to the ICCE Berlin, to the IFA, and just get a general feel of what drives our members and our delegates to this conference. So I'd like to first introduce the president of the Consumer Electronics Society, Mr. Stefan Mozar. So Stefan, could I get what you feel are one of the driving forces of delegates to attend this conference?
Thank you, Scott. One of the driving forces for Berlin, and one of the reasons why we relocated to Berlin or started a new conference here in Berlin, was the IFA. It's one of the largest consumer electronic shows in the world. It's the largest in Europe, and Europe has been a driving force of consumer electronics, although there's a bit of a change right now to the east. Europe still has a very important role to play, and a lot of fundamental research is still done here, and a lot of developments come out of Europe. Co-locating with the IFA gives us the opportunity to attract people to our conference which want to see what the latest developments are in products, and at the same time listen to research, what's happening. So in other words, you go to the floor, you see what the current technology is, you come to our conference, you find out what's going to happen tomorrow.
Okay, and do you feel that this is attractive for especially the international delegates from Asia, from America? Do you feel that's one of the driving reasons to come to this conference?
I definitely feel this is a reason. This is one of the reasons why we co-located here. Is IFA has an international reputation. A lot of people want the opportunity to come. Registering our conference gives access to the IFA, so the delegates get a chance to walk the floor, see what the competition is doing, see what's actually happening. If you bear in mind that a lot of our people presenting papers are researchers who often don't get a chance to have their work put into a final product, going to the floor, looking at what the people have developed in the product development sphere, what they're selling, what's in the market, to see where their work will actually end up in, that's an attraction.
Brilliant, thank you. Now, the thing about consumer electronics is it's a huge field. It's very varied. All you need to do is walk on the floor of the show and you see all these variety of different things. With the ICCE Berlin, what do you feel are the primary focuses for this year?
This year we sort of took a bit of a risk and gamble, and the conference theme is healthcare, consumer electronics and healthcare, and that's a very growing field. And one of the things we've noticed is, since we've been advertising the conference, this is only the third year that this conference is running, we are getting much more feedback and much more interest. Quite a number of the press have approached us for information about our conference. All of a sudden, we're gaining visibility we didn't have. And consumer healthcare doesn't mean abstract medical stuff. It means, how can I use a consumer device to monitor health? How can consumer devices be used in the day-to-day living? In particular with the aging population, this is a growing field, and we're right in the forefront. And actually Berlin this time is the first consumer electronics conference in the world to focus on consumer healthcare.
Okay, so thinking more long term, where do you feel that consumer electronics is going to be moving to in the future?
I think the future of consumer electronics is it's unlimited. The mind is the limit. There's no physical limit. I was just speaking yesterday with the organizers of the IFA, and a few years ago they said they were threatened by telecommunications and IT. They felt that consumer electronics will disappear in those fields. However, the opposite happened. It seems that consumer electronics is encroaching on telecommunications. It's becoming more personalized. It's becoming more consumer oriented. And similarly with IT, a lot of IT devices, the lines are becoming blurrier and blurrier every day. And what's coming out is it's consumer electronics driving it, not IT driving consumer electronics.
No, absolutely. All you've got to do is just go downstairs into this very building, and there's a floor dedicated to the various different providers, ARD, RTL. They've all got stands here, and it's rather unusual to see the television broadcasters come into a consumer show. So no, I very much agree with that. So that's brilliant. Thank you very much, Stefan. What I'd like to do now is speak to some of the other delegates within the conference to get an insider feel as to what they think this conference can bring to consumer electronics as a whole for the future and bringing the future into the present. And so hopefully we'll get some really good insights on how, as a society, we can move forward.